was more majority looking for bearish. And here's the biggest part of the I think in my opinion the very most important part of this trade is looking at this 10 a.m. open. How you could predict Trump's massive dump when he tweeted. So how could you predict that? Again, you might not be able to predict the delivery, but I definitely was bearish for the day. ICT took some sales in the same positions that I did. I saw some other trades take some sales. So if this is a day you don't wash up, this is a day you don't just, be like, oh, Trump dumped and it's nothing I can improve on this day. This is where you actually can improve. And this is where you can actually get buried in. Again, maybe not on the delivery, right? We don't usually drop 400, 600 points in 2 candles. But this is the ideal of contextualizing, okay, I can get better in the way of looking why we should have been bearish, especially if it was bullish. And I couldn't really frame too much bullishness. Not saying I'm correct in every single day, nothing like that, but just in my opinion, we was way more bearish than anything than it was bullish. I need a lot more confirmation for us to be bullish. But again, instead of just talking about that, I kind of like to do like a trade breakdown and recap on what you can improve on and get better, so you can be able to be prepared for the next time this happens and what I was looking for to actually be bearish. So, and also this full video will be in the Discord, so jump in the free Discord. You want to see the full video. I'll put a little bit on YouTube, but I'll put the full version of this video in this Discord. So drop down the link. Should be a free Discord link, and you can jump in there. So going into today, I don't start trading at 10:30. I let the first hour of trading always go by. So 9:30 to 10:30, I kind of let the candle do what it's gonna do. Let it fake out people, don't fake out people, make the move, and so I can kind of see an idea what we're looking for. So this is what this blue line is. This blue line is basically looking at 10:30 and telling you. So when you're looking at this, all this price action has happened. So looking at from 10:30, I am seeing that if you scroll, just look for NAS real quick. So I'm gonna bring ES in a little bit, but let's just focus on NAS. Look at all the liquidity we ran in the morning. London high has been swept. Asian high has been swept. So those two equal highs that's literally just been ran through. Then we also sweep out London high over here. Almost sweep out Asian high previous day, but we wasn't able to get above there. So all I'm looking at all this just from a NAS standpoint, we just looked at all this liquidity, just ran through it, took all out. Okay, so it's like, okay, we did extreme damage on buy side is what I'm looking at. So I'm like, it's not crazy for us to come down lower and then be targeting up. The other thing that I saw on ES, and that's why I have ES, is I literally told myself, so, okay, that's a lot of liquidity being taken. What else that can give me confluence that we'll be taking sales? Notice how I'm bringing ES in. Notice how I think it's right here. My crosshairs look right here and look right here. This is that same high. Notice how we took it out on NAS, but we failed to even get nowhere near it, right, on ES. So that is a huge SMT. This is like a 1 hour SMT, 4 hour SMT. This is a huge SMT. Probably I think it's actually to daily, as a matter of fact. So this is like a daily 4 hour SMT that we also have. So that's telling me, okay, we also could be bearish for that reason. For us just to sweep in this internal liquidity, then we rotate higher, if anything, right? So I'm just trying to read the candles, trying to understand, like, looking reactions, stuff like that. But I'm like, okay, I'm literally bearish for the moment, right? That's huge. That's huge information. So that's just already another reason I could be bearish. Also looking at ES, you can see how close we were to the new week opening gap. So the new week opening gap was in sight. We were still right here, so I was like, that could be a draw on liquidity. If that's a draw on liquidity on ES, then this could, again, force NAS to, again, just at least drop down lower and take out these equal lows, and then take this out, and then we can start rotating higher. So again, I'm using it as a draw, and that could be another confluence. So I'm gonna put ES up because at this point I didn't use ES. At that point, I didn't need ES anymore, and now let's focus on NAS. When you can see that we took all these highs out, I'm dropping down to the 15-minute. I did draw out the 15-minute for value gap. So there was a 15-minute for value gap. You can see right here, bullish for value gap, and this will come in handy when I go down to the 5-minute. Maybe you can see from there. Is the reason I didn't. So again, this line is representing right here. This line is representing me coming at charts 10:30. We come down. I looked at this, and you can see why I didn't like to take the sales, because I did not take the sales because we wasn't in a macro, and also this is a 4 out this line right here, because I want to make sure I show you everything what I'm looking at. This is a 4-minute fair value gap right here. And I also saw that we was bouncing out of a 15-minute fair value gap and a 1 hour order block. So this is all confluences why I didn't want to take this sale right here. Also because we had liquidity up here. Also because we was not inside macro. So this kind of giving me confluence and just telling myself to wait. If anything, if this was to drop down and come down lower, then I would then be looking for us to return back to this 15-minute fair value gap, using it as an inversion, right? And then looking for lower. So that is those lines to represent what we're doing. So let me just go down to the 2-minute, and I think this would be a little more cleaned up. Let's get back centered. So this is that 4-minute fair value gap. You can see there's liquidity. And this is what you got to tell yourself when you're looking at both sides of the market. Where in me was I was anticipating a bias, right? Bias is being sell. This is why I am also understanding, like, okay, if we are bullish, what I'm looking for. I am bearish, but if I am bullish, what I'll be looking for. Well, in my opinion, if we're bearish, or excuse me, if I was bullish, once we put in this low, take these people out. Then put in that low and take those people out. This could be considered your market maker buy model, right? This would be the stop run that was internal. Then we come back up. I'm waiting for market structure shift. Sort of have one right there. This can be considered maybe as a market structure shift. Then you see that we put these lows in right here, right? This was significant to me, in my opinion, because once we put these lows in, inside this, remember, 4-minute fair value gap, coming back down. Once we swept this out, keeping this intact, sweep these things out right here, right? These people out of the trade. So we got internal being swept, keeping that intact. Market shifted back up. In my opinion, again, it's just my opinion. Once we come back above this order block right here, CSD change, order block, whatever you want to call it, change state delivery. Once we come back above here, we should be gone. It's no reason we should be back down here, right? This should be your breakaway gap. Because why are we back down here? Because it's no reason for us to come back down here. Because once we swept internal liquidity, this all has an internal stop run, and this is perfectly balanced. When you think about it, like, this is balanced. We went down, we went up, and look how many times we went down and up in this area. As at some point, we should be coming out of this consolidation and shooting up higher. So if we was bullish, I was looking at this backdrop, seeing this. I wanted, if this was bullish, this should absolutely hold. We come back here and bounce, and I was looking for like maybe an internal stop run up here for this to take up higher to these to all-time highs and all that good stuff. So I was looking for all that, but if that did happen, but again, I was more majority looking for bearish. And here's the biggest part of the I think, in my opinion, the very most important part of this trade is looking at this 10 a.m. open.